arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Tonight we're going to be doing my 63rd Chillin' Chat live on a Sunday evening, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. We have Arcade1up news, we have At Games news, as well as New Wave Toys, so we got a full packed night of home arcade talk. Let's first say hi to everyone who's made it in the chat so far. It looks like John E. Blaze is here. He's saying numero uno. Good to see you, Johnny Blaze. First one in the chat this evening. Jason's here, little alien. He's saying, hope you had a sweet weekend, Biggie D. Definitely did. Got outside yesterday, got a long hike in. Had a good time doing that, and then just been taking it easy like I normally do on Sundays to prepare for these live streams. Calvin Wong's here. Hi, Jason. Good to see you, Calvin Wong. Ritual Dello. Hey, all. My cock hurts. I'm running out of available screens. Let's see who else we got. Danny Johnston is here as well. Good to see you. Papa Brad's Gaming. Hello, gamers. Good to see you, Papa Brad. All right, guys. So let's get into our discussion tonight. We've got some good stuff. It's been a long time since we've really had any exciting Arcade1up news. But this week, we got some good news, and we also have plenty to talk about based on their social media and the direction they're going with social media. We're getting to see some inside look at their office and maybe giving us a sneak peek of what may be coming, or kind of give us a roadmap of what we might be seeing here in the future. And I'm going to go over all that with you guys tonight, give you my opinion. Darren Kane also made it as well. He says, yo, former Arcade1up staffer here, been exactly 2 years since I left. So 2 years, long time in the home arcade business, I think. You know, the company has drastically changed over those 2 years. It's almost like the same products, but almost like two different companies from what we're seeing today, as opposed to what it was like just a couple years ago. Tony C's here as well. He says, I couldn't figure out how to make Spectate work on the Joust cab after the update. Interesting. So I would like to hear for anyone out there who owns the Joust, you know, are you guys having issues, or is it just the MK cabinets that are getting this update? I would assume it would be the Joust too. The Joust has the same games lineup, but maybe there's some news on that. I have not heard that yet. Ted Adam Green. Hey, Biggie D and the rest of the gang. Good to see you, Ted. So let's get into it. So we're going to start tonight with some Arcade1up news. I want to start with first the X-Men 97 Deluxe Edition arcade cabinet, which released on the 25th, but it's been 10 days now, so you know it takes a few days for these to ship out. So we really didn't start seeing these in the homes or videos until this week. So I wanted to bring this topic back up to start this stream, because this is our latest product by Arcade1up. And even though it is a rehash, or just a rehash of an exact cabinet that we've seen in the past with different artwork, it is new. So let's take a look at this. So right now, if you wanted to get this cabinet, it is $4.99 at Amazon. It is saying that it is MSRP $5.99. They're giving you $100 off, 17% off of this cabinet right now. We have seen that price fluctuate. It's gone up to $5.99. We've seen it go back down to $4.99. So it looks like it's kind of settled at this $4.99 price. But if you guys look, Wayfair is also carrying the same cabinet, but they have the price of $5.99. So there are two retailers right now that are carrying this cabinet, and seeing the $5.99 price at Wayfair makes me believe that at any point Amazon's going to raise that price back up to $600, and that could happen at any time. And so if you were looking to get this $4.99 price, it is, as of today, $4.99. Wayfair $5.99. So what I want to look at next is I want to take a look at the actual cabinet itself. There was one video that did drop this week. This was by Long and Low, and he buys all the Arcade1up cabinets, it seems. So he was like the only video I could find that had one of these so far. So let's take a look at this. I don't have any audio on it, but I kind of want to just use this video to look at this. So he's complaining a little bit about these like bubbles on the marquee. Now he's saying that he did something wrong when he was building it, didn't pull off some plastic or something, and that's why you're seeing those bubbles. And he didn't want to go back in and remove it after assembling it. So that shouldn't be a problem, but we were seeing it in his video. Now it is just a plain black marquee. I mean, there's not much to it. You just got a logo. That's it. He does say that the logo at least does get some color through there when you turn it on. You're going to see that when he gets at the right angle there. So right there. So you can see that it does have some pretty good color in that logo, but it's just so basic. It's so plain. That black background, just very uninspiring type of artwork, I would say, with this cabinet when you look at it straight on and you're looking at that marquee. This is definitely going to be one of these cabinets where you see a lot of people replacing the marquees. I don't imagine many people are going to keep this stock marquee in there for very long, basic and plain as it is. Also, Marvel Studios, there was some speculation. I think that was more of my speculation that maybe they would change that to a Marvel animation like the cartoon. Doesn't seem like they were able to make that change. So this is the splash screen. When it first loads up, you're going to get the animation for the Marvel vs. Capcom 2. There is nothing new at the very start. Now, once it goes past this, you're going to see a splash screen of X-Men 97. That is, in fact, new there. That's all going to be the same, except it says 2024 now. And then here, you're going to see the background has been changed. Instead of that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 artwork in the background, you've got the X-Men 97 artwork. Now, one thing I was concerned about is, are they going to at least, I know it's the same games lineup, but are they going to at least change the order to put an X-Men game at the front? And it doesn't look like they've done that, because he turned it on and the first thing we're going to see is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So there was actually, if any development cost, it was very little, because they didn't even change, you can see in there, the menu system to reflect and show an X-Men game first. So little disappointing that they didn't do any extras with this. There were, some questions going into the actual release of it. Would the marquee show Marvel animation? Would the menu system load with X-Men? And would there be any added like splash screen or animations at the load screen? And there wasn't. So little disappointing on that. But again, it is $100 less than the Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And if you're a fan of X-Men 97, then maybe this is the right cabinet for you. Let's see what everyone in the chat's got to say about this cabinet. I know there's probably plenty of opinions out there on it. Darren Kane saying, I have to run an idea for a riser themed t-shirt back then, but it never happened. Paul Minderman's here. He says the only MK cab I'll buy needs to be an XL. So he's probably responding to this poll. I've not run a poll on my streams until tonight, but I decided to go ahead and start doing some just to kind of gauge our interest levels in these cabinets and see, what impact does an online update or a spectate mode really make or impact on sales? Does it really push people to run out and buy a Mortal Kombat cabinet? I was interested in finding that out. Or if you've owned a cabinet, did you sell it before the release of the spectate mode? Or did you hang on to it and you just were loyal to Arcade1up and kept that cabinet the whole time while they were developing it? Danny Johnston's here. He's saying, hey, Papa Brad. Jason Little Alien saying, I don't mind the look of this cab, but I hate the marquee, and I think they could have used full graphics on the sides and ditch that faux riser look on the bottom sides. Paul Minderman says 17% off, otherwise known as the price it should have been, and everyone knows it. Absolutely. That is the starting price. Jason's saying it too. This is the starting price, or should be, $499. We realistically should be getting a $399 deal right now on the X-Men 97 for like an introductory offer. That's what I think we should be getting, and that would have really pushed some sales. $399. I think more people would have gone out on a limb and gotten this cabinet if it would have been $400 with a $500 MSRP price. Jason saying, I hope everyone doesn't have these issues. There are other cabs with black background that doesn't have this issue. Galaga class of 81. Ritual Dello says that marquee was created by a 5-year-old. Very uninspiring, very plain, very basic. You're just throwing a logo on there. It's just, I don't understand it. Brooklyn Menace, they should have done a row of a bunch of X-Men characters for the marquee since it's not an arcade accurate cabinet. And that's exactly how I feel. Brooklyn, we could have put a whole, group of X-Men on there, 5 or 6 X-Men characters in the background. Similar to my X-Men versus Street Fighter marquee. That is Capcom artwork, but that's what they did. They threw like 12 characters on there, 6 on one side, 6 on another, logo in the middle. You could have done the same idea with the diamond plate background, just like the X-Men versus Street Fighter look, and just kind of recreated that look, but with the X-Men 97 characters. I think that would have been really cool. And to that point, it'll be interesting to see what third-party companies out there that are making aftermarket marquees are going to come forward and make some really cool-looking marquee replacements for this cabinet. I definitely think Josebo's got something in the works. Kelvin Wong says, I'd rather buy the retro shooter light guns that I can play on any TV. Tony C is here. He's saying, unless there's a Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man XL, I am out on the Arcade1up cabs. I've spent all my funds in the ALP 4Ks. And you're going to see that this year where there's a lot of competition. Arcade1up isn't just facing the fact that they're not releasing new cabinets. They're just rehashing cabinets. They're also facing stiff competition from Mac Games at a very high price product of these ALP 4Ks. People are spending $1,500 on one, where that could have been 3 Arcade1ups, maybe 4 of them, that, they're not going to go to Arcade1up and buy this year possibly. And if they do, they may only buy 1 as opposed to 3 or 4. Jason's saying, even Marvel's website for the TV show, it shows Marvel Animation. There is no Marvel Studios on the cartoon credits. And that is correct, 100%. This should have been Animation, Marvel Animation, no doubt about it. That was a mix-up, probably, I would imagine, on the Arcade1up side of things in their office. That is because when I look up anything X-Men 97, it says Marvel Animation. Now, there is a PNG logo out there, and I use it quite a bit on my graphics, that does say Marvel Studios at the top. It's a really large file, perfect quality, PNG. You would think they would get those files from Disney, but it almost looks and it appears as if they grabbed that off the web and threw it on there, and it ended up coming back to bite them because that's not accurate. JR saying, hey, everyone. And, guys, I've worked in marketing. I know how marketing works. When you do collaborations like this, the company will give you a full access of files that you can use for your graphics. And you're supposed to use those. And it doesn't look or appear that they did. Prince Vinny 007 says, are you getting this, Biggie? I don't think I am. I just don't think I am, Prince Vinny. One thing I do like about it is this game deck. I think the game deck looks amazing. Let's get back there. I think that looks amazing. And what would be kind of cool would be to get the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the original one. I like that marquee better. And then maybe buy this one. I don't know. Do the game decks swap out, though? Could you swap this game deck out of this one and put it in the Marvel vs. Capcom 2? I don't know if you could do that. But that would be ideal. Have the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 with this game deck. Because I do like the diamond plate. Way better than the graphite. But it'd have to be an incredible deal for me to run out and get one of these. Mike Cockert says, I like X-Men 97, and I will likely be getting the stool for my X-Men versus Street Fighter cabinet. We'll be waiting for the MVC2 to be an XL form. And that is a good point, Mike, as we see a lot of the deluxes being made. We haven't seen any new XLs be made recently since Pac-Man at Costco. Will they do MVC2 in an XL form? That would be worth getting, I think. Gigi's here. He's saying, I personally think my Arcade Soon will bring home, or wait, I personally think My Arcade soon will bring home arcades. Kevin Clausen says X-Men 97 show equals good. X-Men 97 cab equals bad. The show is excellent. The show is incredible. No doubt about it. I've got one episode left, and I'll tell you that second to last episode blew me away. It was so good. I love what they're doing with the cameos. I'm not going to ruin it for you and tell you who these cameos are, but you just wait. When they come on screen and they start interacting with the X-Men, it's a whole nother level. I can't wait for season 2 if they continue the show. Marine 50 saying, good evening, programs. Good to see you, Marine 50. So we'll move on here from X-Men 97. We just got a quick look at it here, guys. Got to look at the actual screen of it loading finally. And hopefully we'll see more videos like this. We'll see some reviews. This is the only one I could find. So there's, you know, we hear about there were 1,000 sold. Last night I heard James Hates Everything. If you want to go check out his channel, he had a stream last night. He said over 3,000 have been sold. So that's a lot. And we haven't seen much on YouTube or Reddit or Facebook of these cabinets yet. So it must be a lot of, you know, non-Arcade1up enthusiasts that are running out to buy these, because we're not seeing our typical YouTubers buying this cabinet. So the only other cabinet that we talked about this a couple weeks ago was the Golden Tee cabinet. This is going to release on the May the 9th. I think it's on there on the graphic. Yeah, May the 9th. Very small print there for you to read that. So that's going to come out on Thursday. So this Thursday it'll ship, I imagine, and you'll probably get it in a day or two if you pre-ordered. It is $4.99. And right now, Best Buy is the only retailer that is carrying this. And I apologize, guys. I see when I made this graphic, I messed up. I put Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on there. Or no, because it does say May the 9th. So that might have been a Best Buy error. I thought that was my error looking at it live on air right now, but I think that's a Best Buy error, guys, because it says May the 9th. Let's see if I can enlarge this. Yeah. So that SKU should match up with the Golden Tee. Maybe Jason can look it up and see. But it looks like they have a improper description or title, one or the other. But the release date's right. The price is right. The pre-order's right. So Golden Tee is coming out here on the 9th. That kind of threw me off with the X-Men 97 Marvel vs. Capcom 2 title on there. Interesting to find out live on air that they're doing these kind of typos on the website. So let's see here if anyone's interested in this Golden Tee. James Hates Everything is in the chat. He says the shoddy marquee is disappointing. Calvin Wong saying 3,000. That's what I heard last night on James's stream. I thought it was around 1,000, but supposedly it's sold out. They re-upped them and they sold out again, is what I'm hearing. Thor KC says already have my MK with Spectate and got my butt kicked around a bit, but definitely enjoying watching other people play. I've been seeing that a lot of people will just watch rather than play because they're, you know, they can't compete with these people. They're so good. It's almost more fun just sitting back and watching these you know, top tier Mortal Kombat players play and duke it out. Jason saying My Arcade already has a full hardware lineup timeline for 2024. Interesting. We got to get back into this My Arcade talk, Jason. I've kind of been off of it for a few months. We had all that news around CES, and I haven't gone back to do much research on what they've been doing recently. But I'm interested in all these countercades they got coming, the Atari one that's coming, and then also the handheld. I think those are going to be really cool products when they release. Much better quality than what we've seen in the past from My Arcade. My Arcade1up 2025. They are trying to sell, supposedly Arcade1up is. Maybe My Arcade will get in and take over. That would be a great name, My Arcade1up. James Hates Everything says Nebraska Furniture Mart is carrying it. I pre-ordered there. Wayfair also has it. If you're referring to the Golden Tee XL, that's news to me. So you guys go check out Nebraska Furniture Mart. I know when I lived in Dallas, we had Nebraska Furniture Mart there. I now live in Phoenix. We don't have one here. So if you're local to a Nebraska Furniture Mart, that may be the place to go as opposed to Best Buy. Wayfair's good too. I've bought from them in the past. I've not bought an Arcade1up, but I have bought furniture from them, and I did have issues with my shipping. It came damaged, and they ended up refunding my money, and I got to keep the item. So Wayfair's a good retailer to work through if you're considering them as well. Prince Vinny says, yes, it's a Best Buy error. Okay, so some people are looking at the listing live on air right now, and they're able to confirm that this is an error. And we see this a lot with Arcade1up products. I don't know if it's the retailers that are doing this or maybe their lack of, caring about these products and not, putting enough attention to detail. Or maybe they're just copying and pasting what Arcade1up's sending them. And maybe Arcade1up had the typo. And that's why we're seeing a lot of Arcade1up products with typos and errors. Prince Vinny's saying it's saying that right now as we're live. Gigi says, does anyone in the chat have an Arcade1up Galaga Deluxe? My question is, if the buttons are better on that than the regular Deluxe cabinets buttons. Thanks. Maybe someone out there can answer that for you. Paul Minderman says, so who are the retailers who ordered these? Supposedly that's the only way they'll make these cabs is a retailer order, and that is true. I've been saying this since towards the end of last year, is there was a point in which they were doing direct to consumer, and they had a warehouse and they had employees. But around the time that they did that $150 KI, when I got mine for $150, it was right after that they cleared their warehouse, they let go of those warehouse employees, and they closed the warehouse. Since then, it's been all retail. And they control everything now. If they want it, Arcade1up will make it. If the retailer doesn't want it, it doesn't get made. And that will not change until they get back into this direct-to-consumer business model, which we haven't seen for a very long time. So who knows if they'll get back into this or not. So this was interesting, guys. This week, I'd posted an image. I'd basically taken the Arcade1up Instagram video that they had dropped this week, which gave us an inside look at their corporate office. And I made an image of that, showing the 4 people that were featured in that video. It was Cyrus, and then there's these 3 others. I can't remember these people's names. I apologize. I don't communicate with Arcade1up directly, so I'm not friends with these people, and I don't know everyone's names. Maybe you guys out in the chat will be able to tell everyone who these people are. At some point, I've known a couple of these people's names. David McIntosh, I think, is one of them. Lower left. Cyrus, upper left. Lower right, Emily, I think, is her name, I believe, but I could be wrong. And then this upper right, I have no clue who this lady is. I've not seen her before, but she was featured in the video. So maybe we'll start to learn who she is and what her part is in the company. But this video was interesting because it tells us a lot more about the company and what's going on than meets the eye and what you see just instantly when you watch this video, when you start going through it. And that's what I want to do with you guys tonight. And I didn't prepare anything for this. I just kind of wanted to do this live with you guys and just give you my raw instant opinions on what I think I'm seeing in this video. So let's go through it together. Let's first watch it, and then we'll go frame by frame and kind of see what's going on in here.
We work at Arcade1up. Of course I only wear Arcade1up apparel.
We work at Arcade1up. Of course we game on our lunch breaks.
We work at Arcade1up. Of course we play Pac-Man during meetings.
We work at Arcade1up. Of course we have dogs at our office.
We work at Arcade1up. Of course I only wear Arcade1up apparel.
We work at Arcade1up. Of course we game on our lunch breaks.
We work at Arcade1up. Of course we play Pac-Man during meetings.
We work at Arcade1up. Of course we have dogs at our office.
All right, so we saw it there. Got some names here. So Darren, who worked at Arcade1up, he can verify this for us. Cyrus, Nicole, David McIntosh, and the fourth lady we do not know. No, that's Nicole. Emily does the app programming. Okay, Emily, I remember her. She had a large part in the Wheel of Fortune. And I think that was kind of her project, was that Wheel of Fortune. So thanks for clarifying that for us, Paul. Kevin's saying we're Arcade1up, of course. We're going to release Pac-Man, that's for sure. James Hates Everything says fourth must be their community manager. LOL, just kidding. So don't know yet who she is. All right, Cyrus looks like he's going with his dad on Bring Your Kid to Work Day. All right, so let's take a look at this. So the very start, we've got Cyrus walking through the door. He's got his Arcade1up shirt on that they will not sell to us, but they seem to wear it in the office. All right.
We work at Arcade1up.
And let's mute it too. He's got an Arcade1up backpack even. Like, we can't get any gear, but it seems like they have plenty of it in the office. I wish they would do like a giveaway too. Like they've done this in the past where they've done giveaways for t-shirts and things. I wish they would do that again. All right, so we've got our Gen 1 Street Fighter 2 where it all started. I imagine most of these people probably didn't even work for the company whenever that cabinet released. That was 2019, or it may have been late 2018. And then we've got the Centipede, which is another Gen 1. So it looks like when you're walking in to see their Gen 1s. It's like maybe they've set them up in a timeline. Like they've purposely lined these up in a timeline, maybe. Rampage, Joust, that was a really good cabinet. I remember back in 2019, that was one that I really wanted to get because it had 4 games on it. And like my Final Fight that had 4 games, that was unusual. It was normally 3 games or 2. Very rarely would you see 4 in those Gen 1s. And that was a good games lineup. Rampage, Gauntlet, Joust, and Defender. But, Defender was pretty much unplayable. Joust, Gauntlet had some issues. And then Rampage, you had room for 3. Or I guess you could say you had controls for 3. You didn't have room for 3. Because it wasn't a wide enough control panel. And then there's your Galaga with the Galaga artwork on the riser. I remember I really wanted one of those when it came out. Galaga is one of my favorite games. There's your original Mortal Kombat 2. That was an excellent cabinet. I would say that was better than I guess we call it the Shark Fin that came out after it, the Legacy Edition. This one was actually better than that. And then we've got Asteroids Deluxe with a Class of 81 riser. So that's interesting. Why would you put a Class of 81 riser on a Asteroids Deluxe? And then there's our Gen 1 Pac-Man with the artwork on the riser. All right, so now we're seeing a view behind it looks like their meeting room table. We've got a Gen 1 or their original Golden Tee, which was the first Arcade1up to come with the riser, and it was the first one to have artwork on the riser, and it was the first one to have a lit marquee as well. And then we've got the Street Fighter Yoga Flame, which has been one of their best sellers. They still sell that in a classic version at Walmart. Looks like they got the XL Golden Tee next to that. And then there's that Golden Tee Deluxe with a Mortal Kombat. That is your Mortal Kombat original artwork. I love the artwork on that one. And that was not a deluxe. That was right before the deluxe is released. And let's see. What she's going to do is she's going to roll behind and she's going to hit a shot on the Golden Tee Deluxe to show it off for the very first time. We look at her laptop. She's got Pac-Man on there. Everyone's talking about Pac-Man. that's something they're always going to do. It's evident on their laptops. I mean, pretty much all of them are going to have Pac-Man on their laptop. I don't think any of these other stickers mean anything. I think those are just personal stickers. Maybe that, you know, shooting arrow, shooting up, they're wanting to see results this year. And this is, let's see, this is not Nicole, or that's Nicole. This is Nicole. So remember, she had a video in the Wheel of Fortune where she got a lot of publicity from her look in that video. So she goes up to it. This is our first actual look at Golden Tee. I mean, we pretty much know what to expect with this cabinet. It's everything we saw in the XL, just in a smaller form. And it's got the BOE. And, you know, they would do Instagram videos with the XL, and you could clearly see the screen was a TN monitor, and it would look washed out in the videos even. But in this video, we're seeing at least that clearness of the BOE. All right, so this is the other side of that table. We've got the Wheel of Fortune Casino-cade. I've got a Star Wars on the ground, so that must be the sit-down Star Wars. The one immediately behind Cyrus, I cannot tell what that is yet. We've got Mortal Kombat 2 Legacy. We've got a Street Fighter 2 Legacy. Those are horrible forms. Very unhappy with those molds. Also, they didn't have online. And that was kind of the point where they were beginning to do online, and they should have implemented that in those cabinets. And then right to the left of that, you can see it's cut off, is that Time Crisis Deluxe cabinet. And then she's holding, we still don't know her name. Tony C, they look like hostages. The dog's cute. Yeah, the dog's cute. I threw in the dog for that reason. I'm a big dog guy. I've got one, and I like cats too. I saw James's short this week where he was talking about more cats, less dogs. I'm more dogs, less cats. I don't have anything against cats. I'm just more of a dog lover myself. I feel like they got more personality. So she's holding this collector-cade. Okay, guys? So this is an indication to me, and this is purely 100% speculation. She is in charge of the collector-cades potentially. She's driving what's going to happen with collector-cades, and obviously, it seems in this video they're putting an emphasis on collector-cades. So what could be, if they were going to continue this line of cabinets, what could be the next ones? And just a little bit of speculation. I'm just kind of throwing this out there. No evidence of this, nothing to base this off of. But what if they were to bring us a more premium collector-cade, more in line with like what New Wave Toys brings us? You know, is that a possibility? Could they get into that business? Because they've seen the success of New Wave Toys, of quarter arcades. It's much more manageable to ship and do direct to consumer with a collector-cade because of how small it is. The logistics aren't as involved. The storage and the warehouse space isn't as much. So maybe that's their plan going into 2025, is to push this line of collector-cades, make a whole bunch of them, and then sell those direct to consumer so they can kind of control some of their business rather than having the retailers control it for them. I would like to see that. Now, how good could they do at it? I don't know. You know, they would really have to, I would say they would really have to show us something different than we've seen from them in the past. You know, they haven't really done the collector-cade much justice in what they've done so far. They kind of seem to just throw something out there to the market, hoping people will buy it, and it's really just junk. They charge $100 for it. But maybe there's new ownership in there. Maybe there's new decision makers in those meeting rooms, and they're telling them what they need to do, and they need to bring us a better quality collector-cade if they're going to continue that line. So I'd like to see what they could do with that. I'd like to see, you know, could they bring us a more authentic looking 1/6 scale arcade? And they have tons of licenses to choose from. We've just seen a ton of them in this video. It would be interesting to see. She plays the Pac-Man. Okay, now here's the dogs. So they want to show that they're dog lovers and they allow them in the office. I think that's cool. I think that's definitely going to help people like them more. We've got, it looks like a husky and then a French bulldog. And this is David McIntosh. And we've seen him in public eye before. He's a public figure for Arcade1up. He's done interviews. He's done live streams. It'd be nice to see these guys, you know, come back to our community and, you know, discuss some of these topics with us and have an open line of communication with us and the company. And it would be good to see David McIntosh and Cyrus and anyone else that would want to come forward and be a public figure for Arcade1up come out and, you know, communicate with us and give us some information. It's been a while since we've seen John D leave. You know, maybe enough time has passed now that they can go back into doing live streams and being guests on these live streams and or do something like Zen Studios does and just do like a weekly video where the two guys sit next to each other and they talk about what's going on at Arcade1up and just give us some information, some, you know, accurate, solid information. So there's less speculation, there's less guess, there's less rumors, you know, that could benefit them. So we see behind him there is one other cabinet. Okay, there's your NFL Blitz. Okay, another Street Fighter II Legacy. I like that one. And we already saw those. Okay, so not much to take from that video other than what I've just said. But let's see what the audience has to say about this. And maybe we can get some good questions answered. Kevin says, I'm not going to lie, all these low-cost, same PCB releases makes me think they just want to hang around till someone buys them. That's where they're at right now. They want someone to buy them. They want to look attractive to potential buyers. I think that's why we're seeing some of this week or last week. James Hates Everything as who else inspected this video for any hint of anything new? I didn't get much new out of it today. I was hoping to. But I did it live with you guys. I didn't pre-plan any of those comments I made. There isn't much to take out of it other than they do seem to like to continue to look and see on a daily basis their older cabinets to see where they've come from. That probably gives them a good progression and an idea of where they can progress in the future. While they're meeting and they're talking and they're discussing this stuff, they like to have it around them. So that's cool. Now, do they play them a lot? I don't know. I doubt it. I don't think that these guys are big arcade guys. I think they just got into this business because maybe they thought it was a fun company to work for, but I don't think these are true arcade enthusiasts that we see in this video. And I don't think they know much about arcades. And that's just my opinion. Maybe they can change my mind, but they never come out to tell us anything, to give me anything to make me change my mind. Mike Hawkert says, Kirby, Nintendo confirmed. Yeah, they're definitely Nintendo fans with the Kirby on there. I think I saw another laptop had Nintendo on it. Maybe didn't see it twice. Let's kind of look at some of these other laptops here. Maybe I can enlarge the video. Okay, so we've got Pac-Man, Big Buck Hunter, Pac-Man, Arcade1up, and that looks like the Big Buck World Series or whatever they did back in Chicago. Got another Pac-Man logo, another Kirby logo. That looks to be the same laptop. So interesting, they're sharing laptops for this video, or maybe they're sharing laptops in the company. Maybe they're very limited. Maybe they have a very small IT budget for laptops. Or maybe those were just props. Jason says, if you pay close attention, Nicole blinks twice and needs help. Stupid Fat Hobbit says, notice how, though, the entire commercial, there is not one single Konami or Sega cab shown. Even from cabs they've already released, no TMNT, no Simpsons, no Outrun. Wonder if they can promote them anymore. And that there is an Outrun. I see it now that I'm reading that, stupid fat hobbit. There is an Outrun directly behind Cyrus. So that is a good theory. And the Sega, I guess we can eliminate that because we see a Sega in there, but we don't see a Konami like TMNT, Simpsons. So what does that mean? There's been a lot of rumors that they've lost Konami. Konami's not coming back. That ended whenever John D left, and it's since been, it's left to be seen. Are they going to be able to get Konami back? I can't tell you who told me this, but someone did confirm for me within Arcade1up that they did lose Konami. So I think you're on to something, stupid fat hobbit. We did not see one Konami cab in the background. And if they've lost that license, they cannot promote it any longer, even if they've made it in the past. So that is a good idea and a good theory. I think you're on to something. Hollywood Polo says, Biggie D's Arcade, how was your day? What games made it into the Biggie-cade this week? Day was very good. Just chilling out. Was watching Stars. Dallas Stars were game 7. They were up 2-1 when I started the stream. So maybe you guys can update me on if my Dallas Stars won tonight or they're going home. And then also I've been playing a lot of Pinball FX3. I hooked up one of my lower end gaming PCs to my ALU because I've never used the pinball buttons, and I mapped the pinball buttons with FX3, and I've been playing pinball on my At Games Legends Ultimate, and it's actually quite a bit of fun. I actually haven't played any other games this week other than pinball. I've been jumping into the FX3 tournaments. I got all the Marvel tables. I got all the Star Wars tables, and I've just been playing through those because I never played those on the Arcade1up. I never did that Mystery Encoder mod and add them to my Attack from Mars. And then I've never played them on console or on my PC until the last couple weeks. But a lot of fun. I do want to get into some At Games Legends 4K talk in the coming weeks because seeing as you can play pinball on an arcade and now knowing it's actually quite a bit of fun, I'm going to be torn on should I get the Legends Pinball 4K or should I get the Legends Ultimate 4K? Because I got to pick one or the other. Jason saying Star Wars and Outrun are the sit-down versions in the background. Yep, we've got those sit-down Star Wars and Outrun cabinets, which for me, 6.4 would have been no-go for me. JJ says, hey, Biggie D, glad to catch you online. Did you see the Dallas Stars defeated Vegas in Game 7? Awesome. Great to hear. Huge Dallas Stars fan. Happy to see them win Game 7 and move on. They've always been really good. They've always been stiff competition in the playoffs. They seem to be there every year. Good to see. We lost the Phoenix Coyotes. They're going to Utah, to Salt Lake City. But in Arizona, in the desert, hockey never really fit here. Jason saying, I find it interesting that Time Crisis has a Namco logo on the top, but the final release does not. Oh, yeah, interesting. Yeah, so they must have had to take that off, or maybe it was a cost-saving measure to remove that at the last minute. Maybe they saved a couple of bucks, and that ended up allowing them to hire another person or something. I don't know what the details are behind that, but interesting to point that out. I'd like to find out. Ritual Della says she won't have a job shortly. I hope not. I hope she keeps her job. Mike Cockhurst says she's the VP of the desk crap. She definitely looks like she's in control of their collectorcades from what I'm taking from this video. Darren Kane says, dude, are you really reading that much into her collectorcade? Let's see. We're going to move on. Won't read into it any more than I did. Tony C says, GG, I heard it's an SNES ROM. And that's another thing. You guys, you go see the Mortal Kombat collectorcade. It's got, I think, the Genesis version of the game on there. A lot of these have console ROMs. They don't have the actual arcade ROM. That's why I'd like to see them do a premium 1/6 scale collectorcade if they're going to continue that line. Johnny Blaze says, is that Camilla Cabello next to Cyrus? And all right, guys, so moving on. JJ says, don't worry, hockey fans. My Maple Leafs always choke in the playoffs every year, and I'm used to it. All right, so what I wanted to kind of talk about now is, based on that video, we really don't expect much to happen this year. And we don't expect anything really other than rehashes or re-releases in 2024. And I told you guys this back at the end of last year. Michael B even had an entire stream about me talking about how I'm always wrong. My predictions are wrong. I'm never right. Well, I said early last year, Arcade1up wasn't going to make any new cabinets. It was all going to be re-releases. And guess what? We're beginning of May now, almost halfway through the year, and we still don't have anything new. So if Michael B is going to push them to make something new, he better hurry up, because if it's going to come out by the end of this year, they need to announce it within probably the next 60 to 90 days to make the holiday shopping window, which is like November. All right, guys. So it's looking more and more like I was right, and a lot of these other people were wrong when they said I was wrong. But let's go ahead and let's look at Arcade1up's website and just kind of get an idea of what we can expect the rest of this year and what could potentially be goals for Arcade1up in 2025, because I think they're kind of moving on past this year and they're starting to plan out early next year and maybe bringing us a new cabinet. And what goals do the company have to get there? So, coming soon, we've got just a stool. That's the only thing that we know for sure that's coming, is this stool. But we do know that they're going to re-release or rehash cabinets probably for the remainder of this year. Might see like 2 or 3 more deluxe cabinets. So Travis, he's been like non-existent. We haven't heard anything from him in a long time. But this week, he popped back up on a couple of live streams. And he said he's no longer a beta tester. He knows dates on cabinets, but he doesn't know the products. So he knows that there are new cabinets coming this year, but he doesn't know what they are, what they look like, what they're going to be, any of that. So he's no longer in the loop of what's going on at Arcade1up. He only knows dates. And so let's kind of think of, we don't know what these cabinets are going to be, but we know that they are re-releases or rehashes of previous cabinets in the deluxe form factor. So what could that be that we haven't seen yet? And I assume we're going to have to pick from what's on this website, because like we said, the Konamis are gone. But we got like this Konami TMNT countercade. Could we get a TMNT deluxe? I think that's highly likely. Could we get a Joust Deluxe to promote the MK Spectate, but also to get us a Joust Deluxe? I don't think so. Let's see. I think TMNT Deluxe is highly likely. Maybe a Big Blue Deluxe, possible. I don't know how much they want to promote a Big Blue right now, though, when they have that Street Fighter HS5. I don't know if they want to have 2 Street Fighters competing with each other in the deluxe form. I just don't know if that's T2 without a riser, a deluxe is possible. And let's see, anything else? I would say that's about it. TMNT Deluxe, a possible Big Blue Deluxe, a possible T2 Deluxe. That's 3. Maybe no KI Deluxe. That's not possible with that games now. So those are my 3 picks for the rest of this year. I think the most likely is TMNT. The second is T2. Big Blue is probably 3. Golden T, or not Golden T, Golden Axe Deluxe. I mean, that's possible. So that's 4 possibilities. Star Wars Deluxe would have been amazing on May the 4th, yesterday. They could have somehow done a Star Wars Deluxe. But that was a recent cabinet. You know, they just brought this one out. It's one of their more recent ones. So it's probably very unlikely we get a Star Wars Deluxe. But it is possible. So these 2 are possibilities. But my number one, and even though we had that Konami discussion, they seem to still be able to make these TMNT countercades with this artwork. I think this was one of their biggest sellers. TMNT is they're about to have a second one come out. The video games are popular. They're about to do a Ronin, Last Ronin TMNT game. I'm sure they're going to try and make a Last Ronin movie eventually. So that I think is a very high pick for a deluxe at the end of this year. And I think a T2 is a high possibility for a deluxe. Let's see in the chat if anyone has any suggestions. Oh, Kevin, I did not see your super chat. I apologize, Kevin. Let me find that. There it is. Kevin Clausen, Mavs can beat OKC. Not sure about DEN. Oh, Denver or Minnesota, though. So the Denver-Minnesota series is interesting. I thought Denver would control that series, but they looked to be beatable in game 1. So I do think that there is, chance for Minnesota to win that series after watching game 1. But I do have a lot of faith in Denver to come back in that series. They've been there. They won a championship. They have the MVP on their team. And they probably have the best duo in the NBA with Murray and Jokic. So I would not bet against Denver. But I do think that Minnesota has a chance of winning that series after seeing game 1. Now, the Mavs OKC, I want to say Mavs are going to easily win this series because OKC is so inexperienced. They're the youngest team in the league. But I think OKC has the most talent of any NBA team right now. They're just so young. It's like watching a college team. There's a very strong college type culture in OKC right now. And even though I think they're very good, I don't think they're ready for the big lights in the playoffs and definitely not ready for the finals yet. They're probably 2 or 3 years out. But I definitely think OKC is going to be hard to beat, but I think the Mavs will win that series. And I do appreciate the $2, Kevin. That goes a long way in supporting the channel. And I'm going to run a super chat video for you. I really appreciate that $2. Thank you. And thank you for reminding me, too, because this chat, it's been flying tonight, and I totally missed your super chat. So if you guys ever do super chat and I don't respond, definitely know it's just because I missed it. James Hates Everything says, none of those games are on the other Time Crisis, on other than Time Crisis. And Thor KC says, the MK Collector Cade is 100% garbage. It absolutely is. They need to step that up if they're going to continue that line of product. Mike Hawkert says, this looks like it has a vertical screen. All the console versions were always horizontal with the text on the side of the playfield unless they were cropped off. James Hates Everything, not if they've lost Konami. So with that, and I do know they've lost them, right? But I think they are still able to make cabinets with the same games lineup and the same artwork that they've made previously. And we know that with TMNT. I don't know that about some of the other Konami titles, though, like Simpsons and X-Men. I think X-Men would be an excellent pick, though. If they were going to do a deluxe X-Men, if there's any way possible that they could make that happen with the success of the cartoon, with the success of Deadpool that's about to come, with the X-Men coming back into the Marvel Universe, I think that would be an excellent pick, is a X-Men Deluxe. Dig Dug Deluxe, ? Tempest Deluxe, those are good picks as well. Let's get back to the 80s, those classic arcade games. You cannot go wrong with those. They're also, I think, less to develop. You know, these games don't require a lot of power for those PCBs to run those games. So they can use their existing hardware. James Hates Everything says, I have a Tapper shirt. I always get stopped and asked about it. No one says when I wear any of my other arcade shirts. And Kevin, he sent in another $2. He says, that was some damn good feedback. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you a lot, Kevin, for the $2. And maybe one night we'll have to have a sports show. I think I saw Bad Guy Mike was in here earlier in the chat. Oh, there's John Phillips. Good to see you, John Phillips. But I think Mike was in the chat earlier. Maybe he was, though. Maybe I missed him. Or maybe he was not. But anyways, I mentioned him because of this last comment here. Talking about, well, I just lost my train of thought there. Anyways, guys, Kevin Clausen, $2. That was some damn good feedback. Let's run a super chat video. All right, so, yeah, on the NBA, okay, that's what I was going to discuss. So Bad Guy Mike, he does a sports show every once in a while. Just randomly, he'll do these sports shows. Maybe I need to do one of those. If there's some NBA fans out there or NFL fans, you guys are interested in seeing a sports show where I just talk sports all night, let me know, and maybe we can start doing that. That would be fun. Carlo says, how's everyone doing tonight? Mike Hawkert says, the Turtles deal goes right past Konami and can be done directly with Nintendo from what I was led to believe about their deal. So the Turtles deal goes right past Konami. Okay. And then it can be done directly with Nickelodeon. Okay, because Nickelodeon owns the rights to TMNT. That makes sense. And that would also make sense why X-Men and Simpsons may not be a possibility, but TMNT is. It's because of that Nickelodeon license. But Simpsons owned by Disney now. Could they get the Simpsons back? X-Men owned by Disney, but maybe we don't know the fine print of all this stuff. Every licensing deal is different, and we don't know what could be holding those titles back. But what we do know is there are no X-Men cabinets on the website anymore. And there are no Simpsons cabinets anymore on the website. But there are TMNT cabinets, even the Turtles in Time. Oh, there is a Simpsons. Okay. So that's Disney. And there is X-Men. Okay. I'm wrong. So who knows, guys? They have a very strong relationship with Disney. Could they bring these cabinets back into deluxe form factor? That is a very good question that I do not have the answer to. So let's move on, guys, to a new subject, and that is going to be the Arcade1up Spectate mode. This was huge. We had PD7 on the show a little over a month ago, and we brought this subject back up that week that he was on the show about the Spectate, because it had been so long since we heard about it. I actually ran the video from their live stream from back in October just to give you guys an idea of what this was and get you back up to speed on Spectate, because it had been so long since they had announced it. And they said it was going to be in Q1 of 2024, which would have meant January through March. Well, they didn't make that window. So a lot of us out in the home arcade community and people that speculate on this type of stuff were starting to wonder, were they ever going to bring that to us? Or did they just say, we're not going to do it, we don't have the money, whatever the case may be? That all started creeping into our thinking and thought processes. Maybe it might not come. Well, then we owe it for the news to know 24 to 48 hours early. We owe that to to Mike of All Trades, because Mike of All Trades is friends with Travis, and supposedly Travis dropped into their Discord and told Mike of All Trades that Spectate mode is ready and they are going to release it in the next 24 to 48 hours. And he had made a short about it, and that's where I'd learned it. So credit to Mike of All Trades for this. But I posted immediately as soon as I heard that, and posted this graphic. Word on the street, Arcade1up is going to release Spectate mode for Mortal Kombat in the next 24 to 48 hours. And things are really starting to heat up now, because not only were we getting some new rehashes, but we are also now getting Spectate mode, which was promised back in October. So finally, we're seeing some life out of Arcade1up, which is exciting because it had been so long. So let's take a look here. This is a video off of Reddit of Spectate mode actually working. And what's interesting is we found out, and we didn't know this until it was announced, that they're actually using the same KI system, which is the Spectate mode system that KI uses, which is great. I mean, it's a great online way to play online. You're able to spectate. You're easily able to jump in and out of matches. You're able to create matches. You have like friends lists. KI, it's very involved as far as the online. It's definitely better than the experience you're getting on the Street Fighter, in my opinion. And Code Mystics had made the KI platform, or online Spectate mode platform for KI. What we had learned shortly after KI is that, and I forgot what they call this, this programming that they had developed, but they basically said you could implement it in any of the Arcade1up fighting cabinets. I think potentially you could implement it in any of the Arcade1up games that they have, where we could all play online. We could all have Spectate mode on pretty much any game we want. It's just Arcade1up would have to pay for that, and it's not cheap. And there is some programming involved in implementing this and integrating it into the Arcade1up PCB and their menu system and all that. So there's some development costs, plus the cost to Code Mystics for their patented Spectate mode. I don't know what you call this, but there is a name for it out there. And so it was nice to see that they've actually done this, because we knew it was a possibility that they could use it on Mortal Kombat, but we didn't know if they were going to, or if they were going to pay the money for it. And it looks like they did. So let's take a look a little bit at the details that come with the Spectate mode. So this is a screenshot from NeoHyper64 off of Reddit. And basically it's more involved than just the Spectate mode. You're also getting some improvement in the aspect ratio. So one of the complaints with Mortal Kombat is it did have a 5:4 aspect ratio, and that was screwing up a lot of the it was stretching out the image and stretching out the characters, and it was making it look worse than it should have been. Wasn't the aspect ratio it was originally supposed to be. So he had posted this, and he had given us some more information on it. He said, I would honestly be way more excited for this proper aspect ratio update than the Spectate mode stuff. And there's and I kind of agree with him on this. It's like, if the ratio was not the proper aspect ratio, and they were stretching the image of the game, and that was then making those characters and those graphics look worse on the screen, then definitely them fixing that resolution and that aspect ratio is a big deal. I mean, that's huge. So let's see what else he says here. So some MK cabinets had screens with 1280 by 1224 resolution monitors and displayed the games in a 5:4 aspect ratio after their first software update, which stretched the character slightly because the game's original aspect ratio was 4:3. And I remember when that happened, and a lot of people were very upset after that. But there was no way to change it back, and now there is. So this update corrects that, brings it back into the correct aspect ratio of 4:3. Of course, I just sold my entire 3/4 scale collection, including MK, to go all in on the XL. So I don't even know if if I own an MK cabinet anymore, if I even want to own an MK cabinet. But I'd be excited for this if I did. And that's why I brought this poll up, guys, is I wanted to see, one, did you own an MK cabinet? And if you did, have you sold it? Did you just give up on this ever coming or ever happening? And now you don't own one anymore? Or did you buy one and you've been waiting for the spectate mode the whole time? Or are you planning to go out and get one now because of spectate mode? And we've got 48 votes. And 38% say yes, 62% said no. So this is not enough to either hold someone to keeping their Mortal Kombat cabinet from October to May. It means they've either gotten rid of it or they plan to not go out and buy one because of this news. For me, it would also be a no. I was very interested in maybe running out to get an MK cabinet this week. But it just wasn't enough. There just wasn't enough behind this update for me to go out and get one. But if you are one of those 37% of those 49 votes, and you said yes, and you don't own one yet, and you're planning on going to get one now because of this update, you have two options. So you have the Arcade1up Deluxe. This one is $499. However, if you go to Kohl's, it'll be $399 essentially, because you're going to get $100 in Kohl's cash. You're still spending $500, but you're going to get an additional $100 that you can go back to Kohl's and spend on something else that you want or need. So that, I think right now, is the best deal. If you're planning to go out and get one this week, I think this Kohl's deal, $499 with the $100 Kohl's cash, is your best option. The reason I say that is you're getting the riserless deluxe cabinet, you're getting the light up marquee, you're getting the artwork all the way down the side panels. So I think this is definitely worth it at that amount, at $499 with the $100 Kohl's cash. Now there is another option, and this was more of my option. If I was going to go one route or the other, I'm a big fan of these cabinets that still use risers because I'm in an apartment. So being in an apartment, I have a limited room. I also want to be able to interchange these sometimes. So like I've run out of room pretty much in this area I'm in right now. Essentially, let's say I want to play Mortal Kombat for a week. I could set it on one of these risers, and then I could take Final Fight, take it upstairs, sit it on the floor without a riser, not play it for a few weeks. And then if I want to swap those out, I can easily do that. Or maybe I want to take Miss Pac-Man upstairs and put Mortal Kombat in its place for a couple weeks. I could do that and utilize my existing risers. Also, with the smaller design, not having a riser, I would be able to lift it, easily carry it upstairs and downstairs. No issue. It's easily able to be moved without the riser. And then also cost. This one's only $299. So even... with the Kohl's cash, you're still spending $500. You're only spending $300 on this. So it's almost half the price. I've already got the risers. And then the lit marquee. I saw a video on Reddit tonight, and I was going to include that in our stream tonight, but I didn't have time. But if you guys want to go to Reddit and check this out, you can put in your LED lights behind the marquee, and you can even get the ones where you have a controller and you can dim them or brighten them up. You can change the colors. You can do all kinds of really cool stuff by doing your own lighting with these classic cabs. And the marquee looks just as good, if not better, than the lighting that comes with the deluxe when you do it on your own. So it is nice to have options right now. And I've had my eye on this classic MK2 at $299. And I think now's like the perfect time if you've been waiting to get in on one of these. And it's good that you have options. You can get in at $300. You can play online, or you can get in at $500 and have the full package ready to go. So let's see here what people are saying. I was very tempted to go out. I even called PD7 on Wednesday, and I told him, I think I'm going to go out with this news on the Spectate. I'm going to go get this MK Classic. We had one at our Walmart here down the street, and I was going to get it, and I was going to make a video of the Spectate, and I was going to do a review on this cabinet. We don't have any classic reviews out yet from anyone that I've seen, and both Phil and I thought it would be a great idea. I just didn't go out and do it. Don't know why. I don't know why I didn't do it, other than I just don't want to spend the money. I'm really saving every dollar I have right now for a couple of reasons. One, I need to pay off some credit card debt. And then second, I really want to get the At Games 4K. And if I go run out and I buy this at $300, that $300 takes away money from me getting that At Games 4K, or it delays that coming to me or me being able to purchase it. So I think I'm going to hold off on all home arcade purchases until I get my At Games, either 4K Legends Ultimate or my Legends 4K Pinball. I don't think I'm getting any home arcade products until I obtain one of those. James Hates Everything says they should be going on the road with these tournaments and doing them in person at retro gaming conventions. Great marketing opportunity for Arcade1up, but they think these online streams are all there is. And I've been saying that too, James, back when they were doing the Mike of All Trade streams, where they were doing those tournaments. I was like, get into the malls or get into some like big name arcades, bring yours in and have in-person tournaments. That would really drive sales. But then there's also a lot of upfront cost in that, because you've got to pay the people to go out there. You've got to pay to fly them out. You've got to ship that equipment or arcades to those locations. So there's a lot of upfront cost for the company, but I do think the payoff is there. I think the reward is there. That is what's going to drive people to buy these cabinets. You've got to get it in front of their face. You got to get them playing it. That's what's going to make people buy. Like if Walmart put an MK Classic on the shelf at Walmart, and I went and did a walk and talk, and I walk up to it and I'm able to play it online, that may change my mind. Kelvin Wong says you have to connect a cable to update the MK2 cabinet. Interesting. Mike Hawkert says, I've been checking in a Walmart for clearance on the Peasant MK, but they are all scanning in-store on app at $5.99 instead of $2.99 WTF. Must be a mix-up with the seller on their site. Man, I would not recommend paying $600 for one of these, that's for sure. $300 is not too bad. Thor KC says, I spent $2.99 on the Peasant Cade. Kind of regret it instead of holding out for the deluxe at the same price, but oh well. So there, Thor, speaking from experience, guys, he's saying he should have gotten the deluxe. I think that's probably big picture, long run. I think that's your better option. I think that's your better purchase, because it's coming together. Also, the coin door, guys. Can't leave out the coin door. This has got the stickered coin door. You can flip it, hopefully, and it'll be black on that other side, but then you'd have to go get an aftermarket coin door and install that. And when you start adding all this stuff up, you're pretty much at that $3.99 if you can use the $100 Kohl's cash. Thor KC says, no, if it's connected to Wi-Fi, the update will download automatically. Okay, good information. James Hates Everything says they need to give us 20% off. That sell a bunch of these that have delayed purchases. Absolutely. Run a deal. Run a Spectate promotion. 25% off. Give that ability to the retailers to lower those prices for a period of time to promote it. Mike Hawkert says, I'd rather get a deluxe at full price unless the Peasant is on clearance for under $200. Some older MKs were in store for under $90 in previous years. So I think that's where too is going on for me as well, guys, is I'm thinking, why am I going to go to Walmart and pay full price for this when they've always discounted these typically in the past? Even we saw the Yoga Flame, which was consistently $2.99, went to $1.99 for a period of time until they sold out. So it may be worth waiting, guys. If you want to get an incredible deal at $150, $200, I think that is coming eventually. but I don't know when that will be, because it looks like Walmart just re-upped on a bunch more classic MK cabinets, because they were sold out early this week and now they're back in stock again. So I think they just re-upped. Kevin's saying, don't pay $1,500, Biggie. Wait for the Dinosaur Dynasty sale. Yeah, I'm not in any rush to run out and get one. So I'm definitely waiting on a deal. Like I told you guys, I'm waiting for at least $200 off before I get it into one. But I don't care what skin it is. I'll take any of them if the price is right. Jason saying, yes, actually pay $50 to take Dinosaur Dynasty. I'm holding out for $100 off. We have Jurassic Park at home. All right, so guys, we've talked 2 subjects here for Arcade1up. We've got the Spectate mode update. We've also got all the social media videos that have been coming out this week. So it's been giving us some things to discuss and talk about tonight, which is nice to get Arcade1up back into the discussion. To lead the show with Arcade1up again is nice because I am a big fan of them. And I think you guys know that. But I want to talk next about New Wave Toys. And you guys probably saw this on the thumbnail. And you probably got the email this week about it. But this 1983 series Slurp Cup with the coins. So we've got some just accessories that they're going to be releasing. So let's take a look at these. And before we get into that, let's talk about this, because this came a few days before. The Frenzy last call. I like how they do this, where they do these last calls. So I've got my Mavericks hat, wearing my Arcade1up hat tonight, but I've got my Frenzy still in the cellophane wrap, still haven't opened it. I'm gonna do a review on this. If you guys know who Steps Gaming is, go check her out. She did an amazing review on the Berserk cabinet. She has got a terrific review out there on Berserk, and what she did something interesting. She did something different. She went to an actual arcade. She set up right next to the Berserk cabinet, and she did her Berserk review right next to it, which is perfect, because then you get to see the actual cabinet right next to it, and you compare it. You can see every little detail, and you always knew about New Wave Toys, how they go into this great amount of detail when they make these cabinets. They spare no expense. They cut no corners. Well, when you see it next to the original actual cabinet itself, it brings so much more to the review. And so I wanted to do that. I'm going to steal her idea, but I'm going to do it with the Frenzy. And I've been calling around town to arcades all week long, and I finally found an arcade that has a Frenzy. But I need to talk to them. I need to see if they'll allow me to come in when they're closed to do the Frenzy review. And we'll see what they say. If they say no, I think I'm still going to go into the arcade during business hours and film it the best that I can. But hopefully they'll give me like some dedicated time when it's closed, and I can actually set up cameras and microphones and do like a real nice Frenzy, give Frenzy its due, and give them a quality review. So I'm working on that, guys. That's my only delay on why I haven't started the reviews. I'm trying to get this set up, and I've found the location. I just need to get the details worked out on how this is going to happen. But this was a last call on Frenzy. I had purchased Frenzy day one. As soon as it went on sale, I posted the price I paid for it. I paid full price for it because that's how much I believe in this company and how great of a company and good group of guys this company is. I want to support them as best I can. And also another reason that I went out and paid full price wasn't just that, but I'd known that these were going to be a collector's item because this is their first Survivor Series cabinet. They've never done one before. And they did a really good job with that Survivor Series and the way it looks. And it makes it look like a real beat up arcade. So I knew this one would be potentially worth a lot of money someday. So a lot like my new Coke, which I've never opened. I don't think I'm going to. and this one's already shown signs that it's gone up in price. It's almost doubled in price on eBay. But this one here, I'm going to have to open because I really want to do the review, but I still think it'll be a collector's item, even opened, because it is their first Survivor Series. Also, something I've noticed is Frenzy is not a common arcade. It is very difficult to find one out in the wild. And if you do find one out in the wild, is it going to work? Probably not. So I think that's going to drive the collector value of this cabinet. Is it's beat up. It's got this Survivor Series look. It's the first one that they've ever done that way. It's got that flickering marquee, which is new. Also, being the arcade being that it is the Frenzy arcade, which is a very difficult arcade to find in the wild. So I think this is going to be primed to be a collector's item. And there was only 24 left when I had posted this community post 6 days ago. And I think within 2 or 3 hours, maybe less, those 24 sold. And now they're sold out. And I hope it remains sold out. And that is why I like collecting these. Is because I like the collector value of these. So we'll see what happens with that. Jason just posted a link to the New Wave Toys Berserk arcade review by Steps. Go check her out. Give her a like. Subscribe if you like her channel because she deserves it. She did a fantastic review, and that's where I got the idea, is from her. Mike Cockert says, when forbidden from doing something, by all means, record it anyways. Yeah, I may get some review in if they don't allow me in when they're closed, where people are walking by and it'll be noisy and all that. But I'll do what I can do because I'll do whatever I can do with what I got to work with because I want to be next to a real Frenzy arcade when I do this review. I've decided. GG saying New Wave Toys have awesome products, plus always throws in extra stuff. Love this company. I think a lot of our viewers love this company. And that's, I think, why we already got the commitment from Shiloh. The guy that runs this company, he's going to come on my channel and do an exclusive interview with me and you guys out there in the audience. So I think that says a lot. And I think that New Wave Toys also sees this audience that watches these streams and sees that we're all fans of them. So it's good for us to be able to come together and talk about this stuff on these live streams. I even had someone comment on one of my live streams saying that he wishes that this would just be a weekly New Wave Toys dedicated live stream where we spend the whole time just talking New Wave Toys. And I don't know if we'll ever get to that point because even though I love this brand, I love these products, they do just kind of supplement my game room. It's not like my main attraction in my game room. My actual arcades are my 3/4 scale, my big ones that you can walk up to and feel more like a real arcade, or my showcase arcades. These kind of supplement that, where you kind of see this rack of arcades I've made over here to the right. And it is nice in what it's doing and what it's giving me, but I don't think it'll ever be like my primary focus. Mike Cockert says Frenzy has authentic. I'm not even going to go into that. Thor KC says, I think Slurpee stains now they're selling us empty cups. Okay, so let's get into that. Thor KC says, I think they have a new cab announced once they aren't chasing their tails getting Zoltar fixed. I've been hearing a lot of criticism on this Zoltar. And every week that goes by, it seems to just more people add on to the discussion. And there's a lot of negativity around Zoltar right now and the amount of time it's taken for that to come out. Now, I do think New Wave Toys has been fair. They've said, we'll refund you your money. All of it, no questions asked. So if you want out, they're giving you an out. Kevgret says, I thought the Slurpee Cup was late April. Fool's joke. GG says, Biggie D, see if you can get someone from my arcade on your stream. That would be cool. I did try to get that huge My Arcade channel to come on. I can't remember them now. It's It's been so long since I've asked them, but they declined. They were thinking about it. They were questioning me. Next Gen Grown Up or something like that. They were questioning me. They were asking me like buying questions, like they were going to come on. And then I answered those, and then they declined. They said they were too busy. They had just too much going on, and they just couldn't make it work. They were just too focused on growing their own channel to come on mine. But maybe I can look at some other channels in the My Arcade and invite them on. But for sure, we do have Shiloh coming on. For sure. He has committed. He just says he's going to wait until they announce their Glen New Wave Toys product, their collaboration cabinet or product. I don't know what it is yet. Whenever that gets announced, he's coming on. And he said that's a matter of weeks. That was a couple weeks ago. So maybe in the next week or two, we can schedule that and get him in here. Hopefully New Wave Toys soon take pre-order for the skee ball. Yeah, we still don't have pre-orders for the skee ball. Gen X Grown Up. Yeah, that's who it was. This is the complete frenzy, guys. Can't pre-order or get this anymore. Hopefully, if you guys really want to get one, you can find one on eBay. So this, if you guys were wondering about this cup that was on my thumbnail, vintage cup and tokens are not included. This is what I guess the original 1983 Slurpee series cup looked like with Atari. Had Centipede on it. Very cool looking. I mean, I was 1 year old when this came out, so I don't remember these. But if I was a young adult or an adult and I was into arcades, I definitely would have been going out to 7-Eleven to get my Slurpee because I would have wanted one of these cups. And it's cool to see these old arcade games on these cups. I wish they would do that stuff today. But then there you got this little mini cup with these little mini tokens. So one of the things that New Wave Toys has done is they brought us the coin op function. So Ghost and Goblins was the first one to give us that, and Ghouls and Ghosts. Well, now the Frenzy and Berserk has the coin op function. So people are losing the coins or they're misplacing them, and there's been a large demand for additional coins or being able to get them. Well, that's how you're getting them, is you're buying the cup, and the cup comes with the additional coins. It's only like $16. It's not that bad. Here's another side of it. Dirty Donnie did the Replicate Amusements, I guess, logo and image there on that side. And then you get some bonus gum. So this is like got some sticky 3M tape on one side. Looks like chewed bubble gum. You can put it on the arcades just to give it that authentic, look you would see in an arcade where people would stick the gum underneath the game deck, things like that. And here's what they said in the email, guys. Good day, all. We've received many requests for a bulk pack of our metal Replicate mini coins, since all of our current and upcoming amusement machines will feature mini coin op action. So that's interesting. They're saying all upcoming cabinets, they've confirmed that for us, will no longer see the old ones without it. Back in the day, an empty plastic Slurpee cup was commonly used in arcades as a quarter token holder by players. When I go to the arcade, that's what I get. I get styrofoam cups, usually, for my coins, or like plastic cups. New Wave Toys has reproduced a Replicate 1983 Slurp, which should be Slurpee. We've seen them do this with like Cool. They changed the name a little bit up, but kind of give you the same idea. Same thing here, Slurp instead of Slurpee. So Replicate 1983 Slurp Video Arcade Cup, complete with an original art by Dirty Donnie. This limited edition 6-scale arcade accessory pack comes with a Replicate Slurp Cup molded in plastic, 40 times metal Replicate mini coins. I don't know how many the arcades come with. I think they come with about 8 or 10. So you're getting 40. Won't have to worry about losing all of them now. And a bonus 3X pre-chewed bubblegum wads molded in resin with 3M adhesive to add some next level detailing to your shelfcade. Awesome. Danny's saying, great talk tonight, guys, but I got to get some sleep. I know you guys out on the East Coast it's already getting late. I appreciate you joining, Danny. Mike Cockert says, at some point, if they can't figure it out, we'll get stuck with virtual Zoltar with the animation on a 3-inch screen. I hope there's no changes or anything like that. I hope they can successfully still release it. I think they are. there's delays because like I said, their attention to detail, they're not cutting any corners. And when they do that, they have to delay sometimes because they run into roadblocks and hurdles that they have to overcome in order to make these things perfect. Papa Brad's Gaming says Centipede would be a great cab for them to do as a full-size cabinet. Yeah, so much speculation right now on Glenn and New Wave Toys and what they have coming. I believe it's going to be a full-size. I know Tech Buzz has said all this time it's going to be a full-size. I'm going with that. Man, if they could bring us a Centipede, how cool would that be? Just how exciting would that be for us home arcade fans to have another company to get a full-size or something like that from? Mike Cockhurt says, I'm curious to see if Five Below has a new deal with My Arcade this year before the holidays. Last year, they carried 4 of their cabs at a nice value of $20 each. I remember that. I would expect them to do that again because they're going to have these new ones come out in their older line of products. They're going to want to put in stores like that. That's what they did last year with their older, like Pac-Man countercades. They had a new joystick come out on those, and all the ones with the ball top went to like places like Five Below. All the bat top ones went to like the good retailers like Walmart and Best Buy, places like that. So there may be a chance to get some savings later this year, like $20 or less. And I like those because those are great for giveaways. Papa Brad's Gaming says, I agree. They need to do a Golden Age arcade classic, right, to show Arcade1up how it is done if they get into the home arcades. Yeah, they would be the perfect competition for Arcade1up because they would show Arcade1up how to do it. Kevin Clausen says it's all good. You know Rockstar is going to delay GTA 6 and then next Red Dead, but they deliver like New Wave Toys. That's a good point, Kevin. So let's take a look here at New Wave Toys website real quick here. Just kind of take a look at any changes. So now your Slurp Cup's coming up first because that's their newest announcement, $20. But if you had ordered through that email, it was $15.99. I think that's reasonable, especially if you need some extra coins. Berserk is still available at $199. I think that's their new price. People were a little unhappy with that at first. I think it's starting to settle in now. 200 is going to be their price moving forward. And if the quality's there, I'm fine with it. I don't want to pinch pennies with New Wave Toys because I feel like they're bringing us so much in these products. I don't want to do that to them. You can still get the Coca-Cola Classic machine, and they have not raised the price on it. It's $179.99. I think that's what it was. It may have been $169.99. Maybe they've raised it $10. This isn't going to have the same collector value as the New Coke, which New Coke just had its anniversary last week as well. But there is a lot of demand and collector value for the New Coke if you guys can get your hands on one of those. And that's really not just like the supplementation of like what I'm getting with these smaller arcades in my game room, just that experience I'm getting because I'm running out of room. I'm also collecting these, like I said, for the collector value. I'm trying to make this like a profitable type hobby for me where like 10, 20 years from now, maybe I can make a bunch of money off some of these. And here is your Zoltar that everyone is very unhappy with. And we still don't have any news on this other than it's just been delayed. Still saying coming soon. So your guess is as good as mine on when that's coming. I think these are coming very soon, though, these cigarette machines. I don't think there are delays with these, and I expect these to be coming very soon, probably within a month or two is my prediction. There was a really incredible deal, guys, on one of these little boom boxes that went out. I think this was either this week or last week. But it was this one right here, the M90 Micro Blaster. It was $20. And it only lasted for about 10 minutes. The email went out, and I checked it within like less than 10 minutes, and it was already sold out. So I don't think they had many available. But if you guys were lucky enough to see that email as soon as it went out, you could have gotten one of these little boom boxes, which for $20, I would have definitely had bought one of these. No doubt about it. I would not pay $80 though. It says it's a limited edition. This is a Slick Rick edition boombox. Cool looking though. And don't know much about these. I've never reviewed one, but it's got antennas, so it makes me think it'll play radio. It's got an AM/FM radio maybe. You guys will have to tell me. I don't know much about these yet. But at $20, I would have bought it not even knowing about them. Jason saying, check out the SLURP Video Arcade Cup Coins Gum Pack $15.99 with the code SLURP. Thanks, Jason, for sharing that code if people didn't get the email. We had Bill's Retro Gaming Show on the channel a few weeks ago. I heard he got one because he wanted the extra coins. I saw him say that in the chat the other night. Arcade Talk says, I was stuck in Arc all afternoon and evening. Good to see you, Arcade Talk. I would like to get T. McCloskey on the show soon. I was thinking about like our next guest. We've been having guests every other week. I want to get T. McCloskey on. Mike Hawkert says, I picked up 2 of those micro blasters last year for pretty cheap. Man, I would have bought a bunch of these at $20. I don't think you were able to buy a bunch of them, though. I think you could only get one, I would imagine. Thor KC says, I missed them for $20, but I already have one of each of those. The micro are just Bluetooth speakers, but they are impressively good Bluetooth speakers for the sound. I'm glad you brought that up, Thor, because my Ghosts and Goblins, get this, guys. I've got Ghosts and Goblins on my Final Fight cabinet by Arcade1up. It's got a huge speaker on the game deck. I will mute the volume when I'm in attract mode on my Final Fight and I have Ghosts and Goblins playing. I'll mute that and I'll turn the volume up on my New Wave Toys Ghosts and Goblins. The sound is better on these miniature micro scale 1/6 scale arcades than the sound was on my 1/6 scale Ghost and Goblin sound was better than my 3/4 scale Final Fight Arcade1up sound when playing Ghost and Goblins. Just to give you guys an idea of how good the sound quality is on these arcades. Like the speaker sounds amazing on these. If you turn the volume all the way up, it's super loud. It's like the same amount of sound you're getting out of these 3/4 scale. I don't know how they put such a small speaker in these little arcades and make them sound so dang good, but they do. They've got impressively good sound, just like what Thor is saying. Antenna is just a prop. It's Bluetooth. Okay, cool. And Jason's saying, I have a larger mini boombox and he loves it. The Arcade1up is junk. Yeah, if we're trying to compare the Collectorcade Arcade1up to these, it is junk. That's why I'd like to see them bring us something bigger and better. So it's been a little bit of a long stream tonight, guys. We're at 1 hour and 40 minutes, and we still have one more subject to cover, and that is At Games. We got a little bit of At Games news this week. And that first one is going to be the Snoopy boot up screen. So out of all these At Games 4K pinballs, I feel like the Snoopy is one of the most attractive, brightest, best looking cabinets, pinball cabinets they have out there. I think this artwork just, it pops. But it also got a new boot up screen this week. So let's take a look at that.
Fly, kite! Snoopy Pinball.
All right, so that's the new boot up screen right there, guys, for Snoopy. And so each At Games 4K pinball should get this boot up screen. I know Adam's family has it, Snoopy, Tech from Mars. I don't know if Star Trek has got its boot up screen yet, and I don't know if Dinosaur Dynasty does. And that's just because I don't know. You guys may know out there. But this is cool. I like them adding new features. They're adding, you know, a nice experience. When you turn it on, you get to see something while it's loading up. I think that's a good idea. It's kind of basic, though, as far as the boot up screen. I know what they're using to make these. They're using Adobe, because I use Adobe now for a lot of the stuff I do for this channel. And I can just tell that this was made with Adobe. So they're probably doing these in-house. They probably have a guy that's like a graphic designer. No, probably makes like $30 an hour or something. And he makes these for them. Because this wasn't made by Zen. This was made by At Games. Papa Bratz Gaming says New Wave Toys cares about their products. That is why it is better. Papa Bratz Gaming says it's a good-looking machine. Jason saying, have you guys seen the Tetris and Slurpee Cup handheld game? I have not. Need to check that out. Papa Bratz Gaming says Dinosaur Dynasty has one. We played it on Arcade Talk. Ray says they have Dino Dynasty and Attack from Mars up. Okay, so Dinosaur Dynasty's got its own load-up screen. So maybe Star Trek's the only one left that doesn't have one yet. You guys will have to confirm that for me. But talking Star Trek, so the Next Generation Zen Pinball Pack, I'm really happy that Zen was able to get this on the At Games 4K Pinball, because this is an amazing table. This is one of the most popular pinball tables out there. I grew up watching the Next Generation. Fantastic show. So this is in one of those pinball tables, and I hear this a lot out in the community too, where, you know, the Kelvin timeline, those are great tables. But really, we like to play these pinballs because we want to recreate an actual real pinball table. Well, this game will do that for you. This is a real Williams Zen pinball table. So I've seen it loaded up on the Star Trek. It looks amazing. I don't know how well it plays. I think there is still some flipper lag. What was cool is they included this with the people that pre-ordered the Star Trek. So if you pre-ordered Star Trek, you've already got the table. People are already playing it. But this is the news on it from At Games. They said, Red Alert Starfleet commanders to the esteemed crew who embarked early on their mission by pre-ordering the FX Legends 4K Star Trek Collector's Edition pinball machine by November 30th. Pre-order for an exclusive voyage. As a token of our gratitude, we are happy to gift you with the Williams Star Trek The Next Generation Legend Single Premium Pack, which is valued at $15 before it releases on May 15th. So you're getting it a couple of weeks early, and you're getting it for free. Can't beat that. Your special redeem code is beaming to your email now. So if you guys haven't checked that, definitely do, because you probably have it in your spam box. And you'll have a code to activate that for you. Jason's put a link in there for that Tetris Slurpee Cup. If you guys want to check that out. And yeah, I want the actual pinball tables. I think there is more demand for the Williams real actual pinball tables than there are these animated recreated ones that Zen has completely made on their own. I think the ones that were actual real pinball tables and they look and play like the real thing, I think those are going to be your big sellers. And I think those are going to be the ones in the tables that are most played, like in tournaments and things like that. Also, when you see the Next Generation playing on the Star Trek pinball table, I did not have an image to share with you guys tonight, but I think it really starts to show that artwork, and how I wish and just hope that they do bring a Next Generation artwork themed pinball table to us in the future. Because I think that's the full package, is when you have the artwork matching the table. And I think of all the Star Trek tables out right now, this Next Generation is going to be the one that people want to play the most. So hopefully they bring us a Next Generation artwork at some point in the future. I think it would be a big seller for them. And I think they're already starting to see that. You know, Attack from Mars, I think, was one of their best sellers. I don't have any numbers to back that up. That's just my gut. I think that their Attack from Mars has been one of their best sellers so far. And that's because it has the real authentic artwork, which is lacking on these other ones. Gotham City Arcade says, what up, brother? Good to see you, Gotham City. We've talked Arcade1up tonight, New Wave Toys, just doing a little at games discussion and talk here towards the end of our stream. So we've got a 2024 release roadmap. I like that they're doing this. They do this every month. It looks like they're going to do this going forward. We got April, now May. These are all subject to change, so don't hold them to these dates. But Wednesday the 8th, which is this coming Wednesday, you're going to get Attack from Mars available to you. So that'd be cool. We'll see a lot more people playing that game now. Star Trek The Next Generation, you'll be able to purchase on the 15th. Twilight Zone on the 22nd. That is huge. Twilight Zone. I love that table. I have it on my PS5. Amazing pinball table. We've got another sale, 24th through the 27th. Do not hold your breath that there's going to be anything good for 4K pinball on that sale, because like in April, there were no discounts at all on the pinball machines. I don't think there's going to be any discounts on the pinball machines in May either. We had Chaotic BPR on the show last weekend, and he made an extremely good point. He said our deals and our sales that we're going to see, the biggest savings are going to be during NOD, National Owner Day, which happens, I think, 3 or 4 times a year, maybe every quarter. Those are going to be the prime dates to get your pinball table. I think Chaotic BRP is right on that prediction. And I'm going with that as well. And I give him credit because that was his idea. I don't think we should be waiting month after month and checking these calendars every month, hoping that they're going to bring us some sizable discount on one of the 4K pinball machines. I think we got to wait till NOD. So just setting you guys up, 24th through the 27th, don't expect anything great. Expect something similar like what we saw, like $375 off some pinball packs. Godzilla versus Kong on the 29th. Again, that's huge, guys. Those are going to be huge tables. The movie just came out, and you get 3 tables with this pack. So that's a good one. And then on the 30th, firmware update. Now, will this, I'm sure everyone's going to have that question. Is it going to come with a fix for the flipper lag? It's not looking like it. My prediction is that flipper lag update is ways away, guys. That's something Zen's going to have to really dig deep in to and figure out. I don't think that's something we're just going to see spur of the moment. Just, they are going to just give that to us. I think that's months out. So I would like to be surprised. I would like to be pleasantly surprised and see a flipper lag update come on the 30th. I'm just trying to set you guys up for reality. I think that's way out. And from what I'm hearing is this flipper lag issue is something you can get used to. It's not terrible. It's just like fractions of a second. Papa Rad's Gaming says, all we want are recreations of the Williams, Bally, Gottlieb, and Stern tables. Absolutely. I feel exactly like Brad does on that. Paramount is entering negotiations with Sony for a buyout. Wonder how that will be affecting licensing going forward for video games and pinball tables like Star Trek, Twilight Zone, Indiana Jones, Beavis. Yeah, that's some good information, Jason. That can impact everything, right? In Sony, how are they going to treat that license once they buy them out? We don't know. That's an unknown right now. Ray is saying, I wonder what they're going to release in June. I hope more pinball skins. I think everybody wants to see more announcements of new tables and new skins. The more new skins that come also it opens up the door and gives us more likelihood of seeing savings on the previous cabinets and the previous skins. So we may be more likely to see a deal on Attack from Mars or Star Trek or Dinosaur Dynasty if they announce new skins that are coming soon. Long and Low says, hey, just looked at your portion of my video on the X-Men 97. The marquee is bad, as when it was applied, it had bubbles underneath. Okay, I'm glad you're in the chat, Long and Low. And I didn't ask you to to include that video on the stream tonight. I apologize, but I did include your channel and where to go to subscribe to you. So if you guys have not subscribed to Long and Low, he's in the chat. Go check him out. He buys pretty much all the Arcade1ups, and he'll normally do a video on it. And that is where I'd gotten this video here from him. And he's talking about this marquee and these bubbles underneath. And he's saying when it was applied, the bubbles were underneath it. So I don't know if you can even fix that. Can you tell us, Long and Low, is that fixable or is that permanent? Is that just how it's going to look now? Because that's unacceptable. I would be opening up a ticket and I would be asking them for a new marquee if that it cannot be fixed. Because that's really bad. Jason saying Comedy Central is also owned. Okay, we just went over that. 15% off is a joke for pinball packs. Yeah, you're only getting $3 off. Give us at least 5, please. 10 would be reasonable. Yeah, Papa Brad, at least 20%. Kevgret says Nod should always be the best sells. They need to stop these monthly ones. And these are like very you want to promote a sell or a something like this to drive the sales of your products, right? You want to promote your products with the sell. And if they're just going to do these lackluster ones where they're bringing us very little savings and they're just throwing out a few HD products and a few pinball packs, don't even do it. Either go big or go home. You know, don't do the deals if they're not worth it. If people aren't excited about it, why even do it? Jason, Adam's Family is also Paramount. Hope that doesn't affect the Zen at games in a negative way, as it's all grandfathered in on the licensing. These are all really good points Jason's making, and these are going to be good topics of discussion coming up. Reality is it may never get fixed on the flipper lag. And that's true. Zen has not told us that they're going to fix it or when it will be fixed. So who knows if it will get done. The Rexer Show says, surprised at the poll, why would you add Spectate, or why would adding Spectate make you buy now? Because you only wanted to play online if people can watch you, or you only want to watch people play. Makes no sense either way. So looking at the poll right now, we've got 64 votes. Either a person has owned and they've continued to own that MK Online until Spectate released, or they're planning on going to buy one now that they've heard about Spectate. 66% have said no. So majority, 2/3 of our audience has said no, they are not going to go get it, or they've already sold their MK cabinet. They've already given up on it. 34%, which is a lot. That's still quite a few people are going to go out and get an MK cabinet after hearing about Spectate. And I think the reason that we have a large 34% that are saying yes, I'm potentially very close to being one of those 34%. I almost went out and got that classic at $299. I think the reason is we just are seeing something from Arcade1up now. They're reinvesting back in older products. And I think that's giving us confidence as a buyer to go back to Arcade1up and buy again. That's something we've long wanted to see from Arcade1up, is for them to reinvest back into these older products and bring us better features and updates for these games. And I think that it gives us a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, that they are still going to stay in business and they are going to bring us new, big and better stuff in the future. Gives us a little extra confidence, I think, in our purchases is my answer. Check out Long and Low. That's his channel. I appreciate that, Jason, for you putting that link in there to go check him out. We need to get him over 500. He is so close to 500. Let's get that video pulled back up here. He's at 473, guys. I mean, tonight we could get him over 500, I think. So that's about it on that. That update's going to round out the end of the month, and we'll see what that brings us. The Rexer Show says he spent just spend another $79 on a Zabos marquee. You're all numb to the quality defects on 1UP, so just spend more money to fix it. And that's what I've been doing. I've been doing the Zabos marquees on mine. I think even if the marquee looks decent, I think Zabos is going to do even better. You're probably still going to want to upgrade. Ray is saying, I thought Zen is working with Google and another big company to fix the flipper lag. We did get that news that they are working with Google, and they are working with Epic Games, which I've learned owns Zen. But there's no confirmation that they're going to be able to fix it. They're just looking into it right now. That's the only word we've gotten on it. Jason, Epic Games equals Unreal Engine, Google equals Android. But it is good to hear that they are going outside of their company, going outside of their comfort zone, working with these like Google. They're probably going to cost them some money to be able to do that. But I think that bringing those outside companies in is exactly what they need to do, because Zen obviously is having issues getting their games working on this hardware. There's something causing that flipper lag within the hardware that they have to program and figure out. Ray says they should fix the lag pretty soon then, hopefully. So just looking at the AtGames website quickly with you guys. I'm always interested because I'm shopping these to see when these sell out. It's like random. Every day it's different. So Adam's Family, you can get the standard or the SSF. When I checked last, the Adams Family is the only one in stock that had the SSF kit pre-installed. Let's see today if there's any SSF kits available pre-installed. Snoopy, no. Dinosaur Dynasty, no. Star Trek, no. So they must have ordered a bunch of pre-installed SSF kits for Adams Family, or they ordered equal amounts and the Adams Family just is not selling as much as these others are, which would make sense because that was their first one. So people that wanted to get Adams Family probably have already gotten it. So for the pre-installed SSF kit, you're sold out across the board unless you want the original Adams Family. And not much other news, guys, other than just a little bit of comical, funny comment I wanted to make tonight about The Boys. So The Boys is about to start season 4. I've not actually watched the show. Sometimes I never get in on the first season, and then I hear how great it is, and I'll still not watch it because I just feel like the show won't be around for very long or whatever. Well, this show has stood the test of time. It's going into the 4th season now. It's probably one of the most popular shows on television that you can watch. And this is a show that I'm going to start getting into. I'm going to start at season 1 and just watch it all the way through to season 4 starts next month. So we'll see if I can get through the first 3 seasons before next month. But something funny, an idea I had on James's stream last night, talking about the X-Men 97 and the Disney collaboration. What if Arcade1up went to Midway and Mortal Kombat and said, we want to do your Mortal Kombat 2 deluxe cabinet with the boys skin? I mean, it would make sense. They're doing these collaboration cabinets. MK is a very bloody, violent, like R-rated game, kind of like the show is. It would fit naturally. Also, Homelander is showing up in MK1 this week. We got the trailer dropped today for his DLC for Mortal Kombat. So this would be like prime. Like I'm thinking as if I'm working at Arcade1up right now and I'm Cyrus, right? But like maybe they've done this. I mean, it makes so much sense. Maybe they've done this. Maybe we'll get a Homelander or the boys skinned MK2 Deluxe this year. But let's watch this trailer because I was following MK1 whenever it released. I never bought it. I went from the 3 fighters. I paid full price for Tekken. But MK1's coming down in price now. It's only like $30. So I may end up going to get it this week and get this DLC. So let's watch this clip real quick.
You have chosen war with a god.
No, you have.
All right, so that's the DLC, guys, for MK1 for Homelander. But that's what had given me the idea that this would work perfect for Arcade1up with the Spectate mode, trying to promote that and do the collaboration, get some buy-in from the collab. You know, like I think Disney helped with that cabinet, the X-Men 97. That's why it got made. Same thing with this. They could do that same idea. Brooklyn Minute says, how could you have not watched The Boys? I know. The first season, it was not a show that I thought was going to be popular. I just didn't like the idea of these heroes that weren't comic book characters out of comics that I grew up with. These were like just made recently. I didn't buy into that idea. And then the second season, I just kept hearing more and more about it. But at that point, I was like dug in on my decision. I wasn't going to watch this show. And then again on third season. But now it's like I got no choice. It's one of the most successful shows. And I watched the trailer for season 4. It looks amazing. So I got to go back, watch the first 3 seasons and get caught up. The Rexer Show says, maybe The Boys can fix the lag. PK should reach out to Homelander. Worst Django says Epic Games does not own Zen Studios. Zen Studios is owned by Embracer Group. Okay, so I had gotten that information from Chaotic BPR in my last stream. He had said that, and no one objected or brought up any fact against that. So I went with that. So good to hear Worst Django confirming this for us. Zen Studios is owned by Embracer Group. Pinball FX is made with Unreal Engine, which Epic Games owns. Okay, so that's its connection. Is Pinball FX is made with Unreal Engine, which Epic Games owns. Okay, so they've got Epic Games coming in to help because I don't know, they've worked with them in the past and they've used their Unreal Engine, and then they've got Google coming in, obviously, because it's Google. Brooklyn Minute says, yes, my solution, it's a time machine that takes you back half a second in time while the machine stays in the present. Kevgret says, yeah, they took away the Punisher. You think the boys are going to fly. Good point. But I think that had a lot more to do with Disney than it did with Arcade1up. I think if Arcade1up could have kept Punisher on the cabinet, they most definitely would have. Their hands were tied because of Disney. But what's interesting is Disney is bringing the Punisher back. They're bringing the Punisher back in the new Daredevil show, Born Again, and it is going to be violent. So maybe they've backtracked on that decision, and maybe there is an opportunity for Arcade1up to bring us Punisher in a HS5 Dynamo cabinet. That would be really cool. Mike Hawkert says, James had the most suspenseful show last night, making us wait for that one graphic. It was a good one, though. I enjoyed it. And Worst Jingo says, Arcade1up has no relationship with Amazon, so no shot. And that would be a relationship that they would have to create out of, they've not worked with them in the past. So that it's far off speculation, guys, that this would ever happen. It was just an idea I had. And I thought, if I was working at Arcade1up, this is what I would be trying to do. And sometimes when it makes a lot of sense, that may actually end up happening. So we'll see. But this stream has been a lot of fun, guys. I've got a lot of fun topics to discuss with you guys tonight. And it's been even more fun because you guys have been commenting and giving your opinions. And actually, a lot of the discussion we've had tonight was created by you guys out there in the chat. So appreciate you guys joining. Hope you guys have enjoyed this stream tonight. And I hope you have a really good start to your week tomorrow morning. Make it a very good week. And continue to stay tuned into Biggie D's Arcade. We'll be back next Sunday for a live stream, same time, same channel. I'm going to try and see if we can get T. McCloskey on from Arcade Talk next week. And maybe it'll be just him and I. I've been doing a panel of 3 of us recently, but I may go back to just one guest so we can just get more discussion with one person, more questions in, more opinions in from that one person. So check out that. We'll see if he says yes. I keep in contact with T. McCloskey throughout the week. So I should know pretty soon. Otherwise, I'll be asking someone else to come on. Because I want every week to change it up. I want it to be me one week, next week have a guest. That way we're not getting the same thing every week. Mike Hawkert says maybe it was a move done on purpose so that Punisher could get its own cab at some point in the future. Everyone's been begging for Punisher to come back to Arcade1up, and talking about low risk, high reward. Punisher is it. The Rexer Show says, I heard Travis NDA made a appearance and you guys now realized he never gave a crap about this community. Ha ha ha. I don't know if he didn't give a crap about us. I just, he was quick to move on from Arcade1up. He was quick to get into Arcade1up circle and to get that insider information, but then he was quick to get out of it. And now he's, from my notes, no longer in the loop with Arcade1up. He has no clue what's coming out, and he is no longer a beta tester. So who will fill those shoes? Who will be the next Arcade1up community liaison? We'll have to find out. But I'll see everyone next Sunday. Hopefully sooner I can get a video out to you guys. And again, be looking forward to that Frenzy review, because I got a Frenzy local here I'm going to be checking out and doing my review at that arcade. But I'll talk to you guys soon. See y'all later. Bye-bye.